Hi friends! I posted a picture a few minutes ago as my before and after picture from like 6 years ago, back in, I think it was 2012 actually. So this will be the 7th anniversary of my weight loss journey completion. And I'm not gonna tell you that I kept myself at my goal weight all the time. I'm not gonna tell you that I was perfect and I don't ever eat bad stuff, because that's completely not true. In fact, one of the reasons I'm making this video is because back in September of this year, I was undergoing some medical treatment and I was put on some drugs that made me want to eat everything in sight, and I did, and the result was getting up to 172.2 pounds, which was extremely depressing for me, especially after keeping that weight off that I had worked so hard to lose for like so incredibly long. So after losing 95 pounds, I guess now 7 almost years ago, it'll be October would be my 7th year of keeping it off, or at least maintaining it somewhat. It was hard to swallow that pill of, oh my gosh, how did I let this happen? Now, obviously I could sit here and I could blame the drugs, obviously, and they were legal, by the way, they were put on by a doctor. I could blame that, like the steroids and making me want to eat everything in sight. I could totally blame that all I wanted to. But the facts are, is I'm still the one that ate like the whole thing of Oreos. I was still the one eating a ton of cereal. I'm still the one that was just cramming sugar completely down my throat all the time because I love sugar. I've always been a sugarholic. I just like sweets. I'm not a salty person. I like sweets. So it's always been a struggle for me. My weight's been a struggle for me since I was young, like really young. And I remember starting my first diet in middle school and then struggling all the way until I finally found something that worked for me when I was 24, and then losing all of that weight. So, I have restarted, got my weight back under control. I'm down like 13 pounds right now from that, and I've got another like 10, 15 probably before I'm gonna be completely satisfied. So with all of that being said, I usually do one of these every year. I didn't do one last year, but this is 19 weight loss tips for 2019. This goes for any possible diet you could possibly be doing, like anything. These will work with anything. So feel free to share with any of your friends too that might be going through the same thing, or if you saw somebody who might have had either a resolution for the new year being that they want to lose weight. These are really important, and I wish I would have known all of these things prior to ever even getting started. So number 1, this is a total no-brainer. Everybody knows this one. Water. How much water should you be drinking when you are dieting? I highly recommend doing at least half of your body weight in ounces of water. If you weigh 300 pounds, you need to be drinking at least 150 ounces a day. And the reason is this. So that water flushes out your fat, right? So your fat has to leave your body one way or another. You're either gonna pee it out, poop it out, sweat it out. You might, aspirate a little bit when you're like talking or whatever and get a little bit out that way. But the main ways you have control over, and that all depends on how much water you're drinking. So drink at least half of your body weight in ounces a day. Take a calculator, put in how much you weigh right now, and divide it by 2. That's how many ounces you should be drinking. Okay, number 2, find something that you can do for a long time. Don't just find a temporary solution to a permanent problem. If you have a bad relationship with food and no matter what diet you do, you keep going right back up, it's because you have found something that'll work for a little while, something you can stand for a short period of time, but not something you can do long term. You need to latch on to something that you can do for a long period of time and be completely okay with, because if it's like torture for you, you're not going to stick to it. You are not gonna do it long term if you feel like you're completely deprived, don't get to eat anything that you like, you hate it, it's just gonna be that much more torture, and you're gonna be in a bad mood all the time, which does not help you when you get down in the dumps and something else bad happens, and then you just want to feed yourself in order to make yourself feel better. So don't do anything that is miserable for you. Find something that you can do long term. Okay, number 3, define your why. Why are you doing this? What is your reason? It has to be good enough. Your why has to be so good that it makes you just want to cry when you talk about it. If it's not that big of a deal, then it's not gonna be enough for you to actually get through this and completely conquer whatever your goals are as far as your weight loss is concerned. Number 4, plan as much as you can and have a backup plan. You always want to have a plan on what you're gonna eat next. You don't ever want to have that just toss up in the air, oh, I'll figure it out. You wanna make sure that all of your meals are as planned as they can be. This is coming from a person that sucks at planning. I absolutely suck at planning. It's not my personality type. So I'm just gonna tell you that it took a lot of learning for me to figure out how to plan things and to actually make a grocery list. Like, that was a whole new concept for me, because I am a impulse buyer. I am a very improv type person. I will go to the store and I will pick out what I feel like eating that night, and I will plan dinner on the fly. And that is just a recipe for disaster. So I highly recommend that you plan as much as you possibly can, even if it's just one day at a time. That's fine. Don't get overwhelmed with the planning. If you're like me and you have the more creative personality, the people personality, don't get too worked up over the I am not organized, I can't do this. You can plan one thing at a time, or buy a meal plan. That's another option. I have some that you can have as well. Okay, number 5. Is define your goal as accurately as you possibly can, and make sure that you write it down. Make as many mini goals as you absolutely possibly can. This is so important. When you set out in the beginning of 2019 and you say, I'm going to lose weight in 2019, well, how much? Oh, I don't know. Well, how much do you weigh? Well, I don't have a scale. Well, then how are you going to measure your success? You're not going to be able to. So it's really important to make sure that you define your goals as accurately and as specifically as you possibly can. If you need ideas, I highly recommend a website I've been talking about for years called mybodygallery.com. Go check out mybodygallery.com, because you can go look up a lot of different body types. So you can go put in what your weight is now, or what you want your weight to be, what size you want to be, how tall you are, and if you are pear-shaped, apple-shaped, whatever, you can type that in and you can see exactly what you think you want to look like, and then maybe you can adjust. You thought you wanted to be 150, 150 is too small, maybe you want to be 170. You can actually see what that looks like on somebody with your same body type, see what size you would be. So that's a really good tool to keep your goals as specific as possible. Okay, number 6, change the cycle, do something different. You cannot expect to get different results if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You are going to do the same thing. You are going to get the same results. That's just the way that it works. So if last year, the year before, the year before, and the year before, your New Year's resolution was that you should lose weight, what do you think your New Year's resolution should not be this year? Don't tie it to something that you failed at in the past, which is, I'll get to the reason why I just said that at the very end of this video. Okay. So change the cycle, break the cycle. Number 7, have a really good support system. And by support system, I mean somebody that's either done it, that's doing it with you again, somebody that has already completed it, that's maintained it, or somebody that is just doing it with you, period. You need somebody that can empathize and be like, I know it sucks, you're doing a good job, I'm proud of you. That is so, so, so important. And not all of us have people in our life that will be like that. So if you need somebody to pat you on the back and give you a word of encouragement, feel free to send me a private message. I don't care if I've never met you, I don't know who you are, I will totally walk you through a hard time. Okay, number 8. Keep inspiration and motivation in front of your face at all times. At all times. Keep tunnel vision like this. So you always want to have that in front of your face. So if you are trying to lose weight, you need to have your goal pictures or your goal number somewhere at all times. You walk in my bathroom right now, my measurements, current measurements are written on my mirror with red lipstick. So every time I walk into my bathroom, boom, there they are. It's like a really good motivator and a really good reminder every time I walk in there, which is often because I'm drinking a lot of water, of what I need to be doing and what I'm focusing on right now. So make sure that your goals are in front of your face all the time. If you're on Pinterest, you need a board for weight loss. If you are in a chat room, it needs to be a weight loss chat room. If you are looking through a magazine, it should be a healthy meals magazine. Just as many points of contact as you can all day long needs to be with weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, inspiration, inspiration, motivation, motivation. Instagram needs to be, your feed needs to be flooded with those types of pictures and posts and whatever. You can find as much as you can. Just stay as focused as you can because it's really, really hard. Okay, number 9. Monitor your success closely. Graphs and different apps on your phone work perfectly for this. There's one that I used to use called Monitor Your Weight or Monitor My Weight. It was great because it had a little graph and it showed me exactly what I was doing. One of my girlfriends named Lori, she's got another really good app. I'll have to ask her the name of it and I'll post it. But it's awesome and it tells you, like, it shows you on a graph how many pounds you're up, down, whatever. Another awesome one is MyFitnessPal. I love MyFitnessPal, even though I am an exercise atheist and I don't do exercise. I still like MyFitnessPal for all of the tracking and the monitoring that it helps you with. Okay, number 10, forgive yourself for past failures. This is such a big one. If you don't forgive yourself for screwing up and jumping off the bandwagon or gaining all your weight back or whatever it is, you'll never actually be able to move forward. You need to forgive yourself and you need to not connect this journey with all the last ones. Like I said, it needs to be different. So if you forgive yourself for screwing up in the past, then you can actually move forward and be okay with what you're going to accomplish in 2019. All right, number 11. Only take advice from those who have been where you are and have gone where you want to go. I would not take money advice from somebody who has $2 in their bank account, just like I would not take running advice from somebody who has never ran a day in their life. You're not going to take business advice from someone who's never owned a business. Why would you take weight loss advice from somebody who's never had to lose weight? You wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. So when you start a diet and you're excited and you tell everybody about it, you're going to have a lot of naysayers. Those people, everybody, all of a sudden is going to be an exercise expert or a diet expert, and they're going to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, all of these things. And what I need you to do is, instead of putting yourself into that vulnerable position of getting all of this feedback from all these people who don't know what they're talking about, just keep your mouth shut. Don't tell everybody you're starting a diet. Don't post it on Facebook. All you're doing when you post things like that is you're opening yourself up for every single representative from every single MLM to come at you like, hey, I'm so-and-so and this is what I did and this is how you can lose weight with me, instead of actually getting the type of support and the real advice that you should go after. So find somebody who's done what you want to do and ask them how they did it and follow their directions. Don't disrespect them by asking them for help and then not following what they told you to do. Okay. Number 12, keep your support group as small and as private as you can. Don't set yourself up for the shame and embarrassment and failure, which is basically what I was just talking about. Do not go announce to the world, this is going to be my year and I'm going to lose all this weight. Here's my before picture. Y'all cheer me on. I can tell you so many people post that exact post every single January, every year, year after year, and they're either the same size as the year before or bigger the next year. Don't set yourself up for that. If you're looking for support, go to the right places to look for support. Don't go somewhere where you're gonna get a lot of confusion or where you're worried about people judging you, because that's a really personal thing and it's really hard to talk about. So I highly suggest not posting it on your regular Facebook, maybe joining a support group. I have an amazing one. If you wanna join mine, you totally can. And then you actually have the support that you need and not the support that you think you need that's actually going to sabotage you. Okay, number 13, determine what your triggers are and avoid them at all costs. So we all have triggers. We all have things that are like really hard for us to say no to or that make us want other things, right? So for me, like peanut butter, I love peanut butter, but the second it touches the tip of my tongue, I want all other kinds of sweets. If I have cereal in my house, I can't say no to it. So guess what? My kids are not having cereal right now because mommy's gonna eat it all and mommy needs to not eat any right now. So if you know what your trigger foods are and things you can't be around, don't put them in the house. This is just temporary. This is not forever. Just don't put them in the house. I don't care how much your kids like them, or maybe your kids need to lock them up away from you and hide the key so that you do not have any access to it, because that's gonna be the only way that you're actually gonna be successful in doing something like this, is staying away from the things that tempt you the most that you can't say no to. So write those things down so you know what they are and you stay as far away from them as you possibly can. Okay, number 14, no exits. I did a video on this a couple years ago and it's still my favorite video till this day. It's on my YouTube channel if you wanna go find it. You need to take the word try out of your vocabulary because try gives you an excuse to fail. Do not use the word try. You are going to do your absolute best. On top of that, you need to throw away, give away, donate, I don't care how you get rid of it, all of your fat clothes. Anything that's too big for you at this exact moment has to go. Because guess what? If you keep it and you mess up a little bit, you gain a little bit, it's okay. I have jeans that fit. That is not okay. You need to not have something to fall back into. It needs to be, I better be careful or I'm not gonna have any clothes and I refuse to go out and buy myself any more. So no exits. No way to get out of this. You've got to completely box yourself in, put yourself in a corner as much as you possibly can. Otherwise, this is not gonna work for you. Okay, number 15. Third-party accountability is an absolute non-negotiable must-have. You have to have third-party accountability. That can be your spouse, but if your spouse is struggling with their weight or if they don't have a weight problem, it kind of defeats the purpose, because guess what? If you want something, you're gonna whine at them and you know how to get your way with them, and they're gonna be like, oh, okay, honey, yeah, that's okay, just go ahead, you can have that. And the next thing you know, you're eating the thing that you didn't want to eat, and then you're mad, and then it causes marriage problems because you're mad at them because they let you do it. Why did you let me do that? Blah, blah, blah. And then they have to listen to you whine when you get on the scale the next day, and it's just a big disaster. So it's always good to have third-party accountability. I highly recommend a health coach, because that person can really hold your feet to the fire. I could not have done my weight loss journey without my health coach, Deanne, who was absolutely a godsend. And to this day, I give her all the credit for my weight loss, because if I didn't have her to go whine to, I never would have completed my journey, ever, 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 ever. Okay, number 16, determine how you measure weight loss success. So if somebody has a goal and it is to weigh a certain number on the scale, that might be fine and dandy to one person, but the next person might want a certain body fat percentage. The next person might want to be a certain dress or jean size. The next person might want to measure a certain measurement. So don't think that your goals are wrong or that somebody else's are just because they're different from yours. Whatever it is that makes you super excited to even start on this journey, whatever that number is, that measurement is, that body fat percentage is, whatever that is, stick to that. Measure success with that. If you measure success with measurements, you should be measuring yourself every week. If you measure yourself with the scale, you should be weighing yourself every week. So those are the important things. You need to make sure that you hold on to whatever it is, however you measure success. Make sure that you are measuring your progress that way too, and don't listen to other people who tell you you have to do it their way, because it's not true. Number 17, stay away from the fat girl mentality. If I cheat this morning, I'll just cheat all day. I already screwed up today, so what's it gonna matter? That is not okay. Do not cheat the rest of the day because you screwed up in the morning. That is the biggest mistake people make, because guess what? They wake up the next morning and they have that sugar high and they want it again. And then they just keep going and going and going. And next thing you know, they've been off their diet since Thanksgiving and they've gained 50 pounds. So don't fall into that trap. Just because you mess up one little time doesn't mean you have to continue messing up. You absolutely do not have to continue messing up. Number 18, identify your most common excuses and answer them with the truth. So if you already know what your excuses are whenever you stop a diet, when you quit a diet, if you already know what those are gonna be, write those down and combat them with the truth. So if it is, I don't have time, or it's too hard, or it costs too much money, you're gonna be able to figure out what the actual truth is behind that. You know that it really doesn't cost you much money. You know that you really just need to sit down and plan it or buy a meal plan. You know all of the reasons to why you always give those excuses and that they're not true, but right now you feel weak, so you wanna give an excuse because it makes you feel better about quitting. So if you already have those, and you're like, oh, I can't use that excuse because here's the truth, you'll be able to look at that whenever you feel like quitting and be like, all right, hold yourself accountable. All right, and number 19, create a long-term plan. What happens if I gain the weight? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna give a really good example about my girlfriend, Kristen, who I looked to for a lot of inspiration when I was losing my weight, and here's why. My girlfriend, Kristen, is beautiful. She's thin. She's never really had a weight problem. And I always watched her habits. And the biggest thing that I really took away from her was that she would do her one diet that worked for her, that wasn't too much on her, it wasn't too much deprivation, and she would do it twice a year for 2 weeks, and that was it. And so that way she could eat what she wanted to during the year, and then during those 2 weeks, she usually lost between 5 to 10 pounds, and that would keep her regular. So once every 6 months, she did a diet for 2 weeks. I think any of us could handle that. Any of us could handle that. Now, obviously, she can't go crazy and like eat a whole cake and a whole box of cereal and a box of Oreos, because you'll be like me and you'll gain 17 pounds in a matter of 2 weeks with the help of medication. But if you are really careful and you are at least not completely depriving yourself, you're still able to go to a birthday party and enjoy a piece of cake. You're still able to have a cheese dip at Thanksgiving. You're still able to have mashed potatoes every once in a while. You're still able to have the things that you actually want. You just have to keep in mind that these are your 2 weeks. during the year that you are committed, that you are going to do whatever diet it is that you have chosen that you can make work for the rest of your life, and it'll be okay. You can actually do this. So those are my 19 weight loss success tips for 2019. If you are looking to lose weight, I have a million solutions for you. What the real key to losing weight is that you find something that works for you. Don't try everybody else's thing, and don't fall into the 2019 New Year's resolution trap. If you are looking to lose weight, I am going to start a group, again, a challenge group, on my anniversary of starting my program. The reason for this and not doing it January 1st is because I don't want to be like everybody else that starts on January 1st and fails. So therefore, the anniversary date for me, the day that my challenge group will be starting, will be March 11th. So if you want to join my group and be part of that, you are more than welcome to. I will be posting videos like this. I will be talking a lot about the emotional side, the mental side of weight loss, and struggling with all of the different body issues and the eating issues and all the hard stuff. So if you want in on that, go ahead and send me a private message. I'll add you to my group. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope that last night you were safe and smart. And here's to a wonderful 2019. Have a good one, guys.